contemplate, okay?
I said not now! If you want the fucking part, earn it.
right, guys, let's take a look at what's going on here. So let's take a look at everything this week here. Let's take a look at the whole week. Then we'll take a look at what's happening essentially around the world right now as ground troops may be ready to enter Iran. This is probably going to be the most insane call that's going to be happening, because right now we are set to go to war, not just to go to war with Iran, but ground troops might be launched end of this week here. If ground troops are launched by the end of this week, this will make the war official into a recession. I think we're going to have an incredible recession. I think it's going to be a big one. I don't think people understand the premise of how big this recession is going to be. And I believe that there's two things that are going to happen. Either A, we go into a depression because of the prices of oil, or B, we sustain it, but there's a massive amount of money printing happening. And everything that I said last week came true. So everything this week is probably going to come true too, right? So
get back to,
let's see what the warning is from Jerome Powell. But last week I predicted that Trump was basically kind of lying to markets, saying that, hey, the war was over, everything is going to be going to, like, you know, basically the war is over. But the war is not over, okay? You know, the fact that we're launching even more, you know, we have 5,000 Marine troops, and now there's rumors of another total of 9,000 troops being really sent there. Is kind of crazy. So let's see what Powell had to say. U.S. debt is growing much faster than the economy, calls it not sustainable, also warns it will not end well if we don't act soon. U.S. debt is 39 trillion, 1 trillion a year. Trump may lose the midterms.
Debt is growing much faster. The federal government debt is growing substantially faster than our economy. And that ratio is going up, and, you know, in the long run, that's kind of the definition of unsustainable. The level of the debt is not unsustainable, but the path is not sustainable. And so it's really important that we get back to, we don't have to pay the debt down, we just need to have, you know, primary balance and begin to have the economy actually growing better, growing more quickly than the economy. It will not end well.
Okay, so let's go back now. Okay, one thing that I do want to see. Wow, did Iran fire more missiles here? Is before I cut this off completely. I want to check something out here. Massive ground invasion.
هیچ کی هم تو خونه‌هانی همه در رفتن.
Civilian infrastructure.
اومد. دیدی؟
Yeah, probably a ground invasion's coming this week. I don't think this is real. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be the end of the month, the beginning of the new month, so we might have NFP this week. Jolt's job opening. A little bit worse than expected. Not good for the economic news. This is bearish news. ADP, non-farm employment change. Yep, it's NFP week this week. Bearish. Bearish. Bearish news. Somewhat decent, okay news. At least it's not as bad, but it's still bad news. I mean, shit. March's was really bad. NFP, it was very bearish. Don't get me wrong, guys. 63 is still bad. This is still pretty bad news. It's not the most neutral news here. This whole week's going to be bearish. I'm expecting Dixie to run to highs here. I think we're going to stay on target for sure. Right? We are for sure moving higher. This is an external structural buy right here. For sure. Internal buys around this zone. Yeah, we're gonna run. Wow, what a sell-off. Everything in SPX that I called basically came true here. Wow. We hit 63 and now we're on our way to 62. Dude, this is wild right now. This is going to be a really bad blow, guys. 9% drop is pretty bad. A 9% drop in markets like this here is pretty fucking bad. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I mean, I called sells here at 66.93. I called sells at 67. We called sells at 87. We called sells at 97. But this is a pretty bad pullback. I mean, the last time we had something similar to this, if it wasn't an artificial pullback like tariffs here, the previous big massive pullback I can compare it to is July 2024, usually when there's a sell-off in markets, and then April 2024 when we were going to and we're getting close to what, October 2023. I believe that price here, wow, it keeps breaking. This is not good at all. Yeah, we're breaking this low here that I called. Breaking this low. We've closed below this price zone, and we're closing below this price zone. The next zone for us to go to, we're for sure coming here. For sure. Without a question. It's crazy that we called sells. You know, even in this zone here, like a 7% 55 point drop, 55k point drop, we're free falling. Obviously we're not going to free fall forever, so we're going to get a pullback here, but there's no bullish news this week. There's nothing, guys. Like let's really look at like all the indicators here. Unless NFP comes out better than expected, a lot of the news is bearish this week. And even Monday had a nice pullback this morning in markets that we mitigated. This was like an easy, one of the easiest sells that you could have bought this morning. Internal sells right here. Very easy sell. All right, you see that? Indecisional candle. Turnaround happened right at 10 a.m. Wow. Breaking the lower lows here. Everything basically that I called out last week, we're in profit in every single trade that we've called. Gold, Bitcoin are all in massive profit. It's insane. Everything we said came true. Even US 30 sells here. I just want to see how bad the aftermath is, because the fact that this is free falling like this in volume, we are going to have a retrace into the upside, but we're going to go lower most likely. Now, what do I mean by that? On an external structure perspective here, this is going to run and mitigate highs. Even come here. Internal cells. This is when I'm going to want to look for some type of internal cells here. That's not a problem. But to be honest, that's what I see. I don't see anything bullish coming from this. We're exceeding market range, which means volume's dying off too, even with NOS. This thing is very bearish also. Russell 2 came to the sell zone that we talked about. Let's look at ES. Yeah, futures, same there. SPX volatility is doing exactly what I thought it was going to do. Gold volatility looks like it needs to pull back. Just a tad. 10-year yields are probably running. Oh, they've had a pullback. Let's look at oil. We're guaranteed. Wow. Currently, I'm up on oil 22%, about 1,900 points and pips. We're up on oil, we're up on BTC. Gold and SPX sells. Every single trade I called out last week, every single one, everyone's in profit. I should have done a flip challenge for this one, because the reality is, with the flip challenge, everybody would have flipped their account just with gold alone. I mean, with oil alone. So this is great. You know, we're seeing massive movements here. What I'm looking for next here is something simple. I'm looking for a pullback. I'm calling Trump's bullshit, and I'm calling, if oil continues, oil's gonna go, most likely, guys, to 130 a barrel. The CPI numbers this month are gonna be really bad. And if I really do believe what I believe is going to happen, I believe in April we will attack. You can write this down. We're either going to have a ground invasion next month in April, ground invasion of Iran. Mid-April, Iran will attack us. We will have a US attack on homeland in either April or in May. I believe that the US homeland will be attacked. They will force us to go to war, Whatever you believe. Why? This right here is a big fucking problem. Okay. Oil being above 106. Guys, I'm not usually, I don't like to fearmonger. This right here is a fucking problem. It's a very, very, very big fucking problem. And I'm not, and guys, like, I called the last 2022 recession pretty well. And you guys have seen all my lives. I've predicted, I mean, I've called oil at the absolute low, you know, up 21%. I've called SPX at 6,900. I called Bitcoin, I called gold, you know, at its low. I called Bitcoin at its peak. I called Bitcoin at 124K. And why? It's not because I'm so great. It's just because, to be honest, I just follow the fundamentals. Okay? It's not because I'm great, guys. I just follow the fundamentals. The scary part about this here, this is what I'm really fucking scared about. And I'm not scared for me. I'm more scared for families. Because the reality is, you have a 52% increase in energy. Okay? If energy costs go up, let's just look at the effects of what happens from this. Okay? If energy goes up, cost of goods go up, right? What else goes up? Okay, transportation costs. Transport cost goes up. Cost of good goes up. Okay, revenues go down. Let's just make a chart here. Up. Energy goes up. Cost of goods go up. Transport goes up. What else goes up? Cost of living goes up. Inflation goes up. Debt goes up. And this is the most important, inflation. Right now, I can guarantee you this, guys, unless something changes, unless we print a lot of money, I'm like 95% certain we're going to be in a recession. And I'm going to make a video about it on YouTube. I'm like 95% certain we're going to get into a recession unless something changes. And this is why. Right now, the government is in a really bad standstill because the job market is hurting. We're already in a really bad job market, but the energy costs being so high is a big fucking problem. And this month right here, right now, non-farm employment change, this isn't really as big of a problem as inflation's about to become. Inflation's about to become a huge problem, okay? And what I'm more afraid of is the CPI numbers, because right now it takes a while for inflation to be felt in the market. It takes about a month or 2 months. But now, since March and April 10th, CPI is going to come out month over month. If CPI comes out month over month next week, year over year, and month over month higher than expected, there's a very low chance that we're going to have a rate cut. We're already not, the rate cut's already priced in that it's not going to happen, right? Or that most likely we're not going to have a rate cut, right? That, you know, this whole chart changed, and this is what's making the market go even lower. They're saying potentially we will have a rate cut in 2027. Now, I personally believe with a 50% increase in CPI, if the previous CPI year over year numbers were already at what, 2.4%? This is bad, dude. This is bad. We're going to start going back up to 2.7. Now, consider this, energy costs being up 50%. We can consider that it will start to reflect here in the next 6 to 8 to 12 weeks, right? We could start assuming with a 50% cost increase, naturally you're going to see an increase in inflation, right? But not only that, you're seeing an increase in inflation. We have no rate cuts, right? Those pauses are not going to prevent us. The Fed can't save us from the market heading downward. So the only thing they would need to do is A, print money, but they can't even print money because right now oil is skyrocketing. Inflation would come double. So this is a real big fucking problem here. I think CPI is going to be way worse than expected. I think it's going to move the price of the SPX even lower. I believe that we're going to hit our target, which is $14 a barrel. I really do believe that's going to happen. Revenues are going to go down. Jobs are still on the downside, guys. So jobs are still down, right? Jobs are down. Right now, with that all happening, this is my prediction, and this is what I believe is really going to happen here. So what am I looking for? Unless something changes, I don't think anything's going to change. So I'm going to give you guys what setups I'm looking for this week, okay? I'm looking at Dixie to still move to the upside here. Extend fully. I believe Dixie's fully going to extend to the upside. We're going to hit 127, but most importantly, I really do believe we're going to hit targets of 101.300. That's what I truly believe we're going to hit. And I think we're going to hit it this week. I think we're going to break through, and there's a real possibility that Dixie even comes here. Okay? If Dixie comes here, external selling zones, I have a big possibility that Dixie's going to come here from March 2025 levels at 104, and the market is going to feel it. I believe that we even have chances of going up here to 106. I believe there's a huge chance that we do that. A gigantic chance. And I do believe SPX will actually go lower. I believe we're going to have some type of rally, like maybe NFP might be bullish this week here. But as soon as Trump sends ground troops, markets are going to drop dramatically. Okay? Now, the question is Trump going to do this on a weekday or on a weekend? Trump's obsessed with the stock market. My only assumption is he's going to do this on a weekday, on a weekend. So this next weekend will be the weekend. Reason why? He needs to attack. He needs to attack. Okay? These guys are, I forgot what kind of Muslim. Shy Muslim. Okay? They go into a mourning period. Remember that 40-day mourning period? When does that 40-day mourning period expire? So when their leader dies, they go into a mourning period of about 40 days. After that mourning period is done, they're obligated to, okay, fight for the country. The people in power, whoever the president of, who is it? The president of, or their supreme leader, their supreme leader of Iran, because we're talking about some religious group here. Their supreme leader is somehow, in some way, related to the same lineage, not lineage, but come from the same lineage of the Prophet Muhammad. And in their religion, they believe that. So they are obligated to fight for war. Now, let's say, obviously, I'm going to sum this up in a quick stance here, so it doesn't confuse people. There's 9 million Muslims, or 9 million, in Iran. 10% of that are Shia Muslim. So that's about, let's say out of 9 million or 90 million, it's about, let's just say 10% to 10 to 15%, they say. So realistically, let's just put it in the middle at like 12% or something, right? So out of 90 million, you have like, let's say 10 million. Let's just do the numbers, 10 million. Granted. Out of these 10 million, let's say half are women, so 5 million men. Let's say the other half are like 15 and younger, so the other half are 15 and older. That'll probably be able to raise arms. So we're looking at, like, let's say now from 5 million, 2.5 million soldiers that are obligated now by their religion to fight, okay, for their supreme leader that was murdered. So This 40-day mourning period expires April 10th. April 6th or April 10th. One of those days. I forgot the exact days. This means, why is Trump sending ground troops? Okay, he needs to. Okay, ground troops need to be sent. They need to be sent for one fucking reason. Okay, and that reason is they need to prepare in case there is some type of fallback that U.S. bases or allies get from Trump killing their supreme leader after this 40-day mourning period is done. These ground troops need to be prepared. Ground operations in Iran. So you see this is it's already coming into play. Okay. You have National Review advising it. But it's coming into play, guys.
Tensions are escalating in the Middle East this morning as the first American troops land in the region. President Trump says a ground invasion of Iran is still on the table. Here's ABC's Olivia Rubin.
Overnight, the first American troops reaching the Middle East, and President Trump still not ruling out a ground invasion in Iran.
I just have lots of alternatives. We have tremendous numbers of ships over there. We don't need them all because of, the power.
Negotiations with Iran underway as the war enters its 5th week. Now, Trump saying there could be a deal soon before tamping down expectations moments later.
I would only say that we're doing extremely well in that negotiation, but you never know with Iran because we negotiate with them and then we always have to blow them up.
Overseas, the first U.S. ground troops arriving. 3,500 sailors and Marines from the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, equipped with transport and strike fighter aircraft and amphibious assault capabilities. A second Marine unit expected to arrive in the region in May. And another 1,500 soldiers from the Army's elite 82nd Airborne also preparing to deploy. Those troops trained to parachute behind enemy lines.
Yeah, so Trump is just trying to save face right now. I'm going to give you guys the setups. I feel like really like the guys that are getting deployed right now are like my age. So I feel definitely some type of way like, wow, like it's actually crazy because it's happening. Right? I've been talking about an Iran war since 2012, 2013 when I was a kid. People always talked about the conspiracy theories of that. I've been a conspiracy theorist since I was like fucking like 12 years old. We're going to sell SPX all the way down to 6,000. I believe that right now, currently, I want to sell it here. I believe that Trump is going to make some type of bet, or he's going to say, hey, there's a possibility. It's over. The war's over. We're going to, we're going to recover. Like we've struck a deal. We've already struck a deal. And then markets might push back. That's a huge possibility here that he'll say that. But I just don't want to bet on that. I probably have a bigger bet on if price does come hit his zone, I'm selling, most likely by tomorrow. If price is here, even better. It's a seller's market. There's no way in hell am I going to be buying this market anytime soon unless there's a whole change in the fundamentals and the whole change in war. So I'm looking for all sells on indices and pullbacks. You just got to look for the smart pullbacks. I'll call them out live tomorrow. The bond market and yield market, I'm shocked that it's actually heading down today. Maybe had a brief recovery, but I'm expecting the 10-year yield to at least still move to the upside here and continue bullish here, at least with an external pullback somewhere here. Now, when it comes to tomorrow, I am going to be trading gold. People are asking me what's my thoughts on gold. Technically, with deflation still coming, I'm not necessarily the most bullish here on gold. But now with war fears kind of coming into play and this swipe of liquidity, it does look somewhat bullish here. Do I want to be 100% all in with gold? No, absolutely not. I don't see any type of accumulation. Market structure here technically is still bearish, you know. It looks like what? It looks like it's creating some sort of level of order flow. And an institutional order flow always usually leads to a sell-off. Okay? So that's what might be happening with gold. A lot of the charts look like that. As for USD CAD is up, then we basically hit my zone here, up from previous zone, even fucking 200 pips here. This is crazy. Markets are moving wild right now. Our Bitcoin trade is in complete profit, and our higher Bitcoin trade swing that I called is going to continue, as I believe price is going to go to 40K. Bitcoin is going to go to 40K for sure. This on the larger scale, guys, is just one small break. You have more breaks of structure here. You see this? We're going to look for a pullback tomorrow. Hopefully we can get a nice solid pullback. I want markets to go up, guys. Why? Because I want to sell them. I do. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not going to sell the market now. I'm not a freaking idiot. Anybody that sells the market now at the low is dumb. But what I want to do is I want to look for a nice pullback tomorrow. If I can get a swipe of liquidity even at 71K, I would be so happy, because I'm just going to sell it, guys. This thing broke daily structure. So I'm 100% looking for sells, at least in my perspective, at least to 62. But once, let's say, a ground invasion launches or something happens, just that emotion in price will bring us to 50K. And then it'll bring us slowly, like that 50K area. And then over time, I think we're going to reaccumulate at 40K, 38K. I think Bitcoin has the real possibility of hitting 38K and even touching 34K, which is great, right? Because then after that, and look at this bear trap. Anybody buying Bitcoin right now is not the smartest move, but hey, it is what it is. Solana bearish, ETH bearish. I've been calling ETH bullshit since 2020, no, 2022. MSRT bearish. I kind of mitigated that. Nvidia, wow, this is not good. This is actually bad. If Nvidia closes below this on the 12-hour, this is very bad. Wow. Now you gotta. This is going to be the buy of the century, though. If this thing comes back to 2025 levels, because guys, I called the buy of Nvidia here back in April of 2025. This right here is we had 119%. This right here, we're probably going to come back to 155, but I could see 131 if it really gets bad here. I'm prepping for some pretty bad movement here with everything, guys. Wow, even Meta's down pretty. 35% is substantial. Tesla down, Microsoft down, Coin down. That tells you what the SPX is. I do not see any retracement. I mean, I'm looking for a retracement to sell, but I don't see any fundamental indicator here that this is going to be a bullish week. There's nothing here that's telling me, other than maybe NFP, if it comes out higher than those numbers, but it'll just be a pullback to sell next week. We're going to sell the market all this week, and we're going to be doing a flip challenge, 500 to 5,000 bucks. The last flip challenge, I helped hundreds of people make money. I had friends that that's flipped 200 bucks to $5,000. I had people that were flipping, what was it? 500 bucks to 4K to 3K to 2K. So in the next flip challenge, I'm going to break down exactly how it works. In the next flip challenge, the way we're going to do it is very simple. If you want to be a part of the flip challenge, all you got to do is deposit $250 to $500, and then you can participate. If you already participated before, you have to be in a VIP group, or not, you're not going to participate with it. And in the VIP group, I'm going to give you guys exclusive access to like my account and like what I'm doing with it in this flip challenge here. I'm trying to make a bag on this. I mean, I had a really good month in January, With that Bitcoin trade, I could have made $25,000 on it, but I got stopped out of a couple, stop profits with BTC. So I'm going for at least another 50K month trading. So let's aim big, let's aim high. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Okay. This next month I think is going to be just as big as January, where my January I had a 40K month trading gold. I'm seeing a big jump or a big trade coming with Bitcoin and with gold as well. So I'll keep you guys updated. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.